So upon completing Naruto and One Piece, 2 out of the big 3, I started my Bleach journey. And now I can officially declare, after a few months of binging, I have finally caught up to Bleach 1000 Year Blood War Cour 1. And I'm gonna sound like a glazer, but I don't care because this Cour was just peak after peak after peak with so many amazing moments and plot twists. I don't want to waste any more time, so if you guys are enjoying my videos, please drop a like and a sub, and also join the Discord server because we have a lot of fun in there. So starting off with the first episode, I already knew shit was gonna be serious because it was deadass titled The Blood Warfare. Like, okay, we're starting off like that. And don't even get me started on the art style and animation. The improvement in quality was insane, and it had me questioning if I was watching the same show as one fucking episode ago. We start off learning that the Quincy King is back and he is alive, and I love that we're getting a whole arc revolving around the Quincy's because I was always curious and wanted to know more about them. The whole science department is marking down the fact that a large amount of hollows are being completely erased. Mayuri's like, only a certain type of people are able to do such a thing, and this just reminded me of when he was talking about the Quincy's during his battle with Uryu in the Soul Society. Moving on, we got these 2 newbie Soul Reapers, one of them being Ikkaku's younger sister. But they are stationed in Karakura town and end up getting clapped by some hollows. So the OG gang swoops in, all in 4K, and they just end up flexing. And Ichigo gives us some fan service by activating his Bankai against some fodder hollows, and it was just beautiful, man. I honestly got a little teary-eyed just seeing how far we've all come and just seeing how Bleach was getting blessed by this animation. Later, we're in Ichigo's room just like the OG days, and this random dude who looks like an Arrancar named Eburn spawns in and picks a fight with Ichigo. So they start boxing, and this dude Eburn wants Ichigo to use his Bankai for some reason. And Yamamoto's lieutenant Sasakibe gets fucking murdered right in front of him by this group of Quincy's who say they're part of the Wandenreich. And apparently these guys can steal Bankais, and they say that they're declaring war on the Soul Society, which will begin in 5 days. So now I know where their name 1000 Year Blood War comes from. However, Eburn is not able to steal Ichigo's Bankai, which was very interesting. What makes Ichigo different from the other Soul Reapers? But that's something we'll find out later. Next episode, the Quincy King, I don't know how the hell to say his name, but I'm gonna just call him Yuha because I like it. And bro is murdering Quincy's right in front of him like it's nothing, so I could already tell that this dude was not playing around. Nell is back with the goat Pesce, and we learned that Hueco Mundo has been terrorized by the Quincy's and we gotta save Donda Chaka. So we go to Hueco Mundo, and bro, these Quincy's are literally Nazis. They deadass got concentration camps for the Arrancars. This is crazy. So Ichigo's fighting the head slave master Kyuuge, and he uses this thing called Volstan Dig, which I'm guessing is like their Shikai or Bankai. They also have Ichigo labeled as a special war potential, and we get an awesome moment from Mayuri basically scolding Yamamoto. He's like, this is your fault for not ending that man's life 1000 years ago, and by Yamamoto's reaction, he's not wrong. The 3 Arrancar girls are also back and they spawn in Ion, but it gets absolutely fucked and the Wandenreich invades the Soul Society and Kira gets his whole fucking side blown off. This shit was so crazy, and I'm so glad they kept it uncensored. The Sternritter also looked really cool, especially this one dude. I don't know, I just thought he looked really cool. Some captains get their Bankai stolen and the Soul Society's low-key getting fucked right now, so they're like, we need Ichigo here. Ichigo locks in and defeats Kyuuge and starts making his way to the Soul Society, but Kyuuge uses Ranso Tengai, which I'm pretty sure is a thing that Ichigo used against Mayuri in the Soul Society, and he ends up trapping Ichigo in this Quincy prison thing. And yo, Ass Knot is so cool. I honestly love that his power is based on fear, and he's definitely my favorite Sternritter of this Cour. And he completely destroys Byakuya using his own Bankai against him. Yeah, that's gotta hurt. And my boy Kenpachi was aura farming. The Sternritter was able to turn himself into a copy version of Kenny, so he was just like, hey, if this guy is a copy of me with the same strength and ability, I just have to get stronger. Yeah, genius plan, Kenny. Then this dumbass Sternritter has the nerve to use Sasakibe's Bankai in front of Yamamoto, and Yama just burns his ass to ashes, and I respect Sasakibe a lot more after this because dude was low-key an OG and he even gave Yama a scar. Kenny's aura farming didn't last long though because Yuha destroys him, but now we got, in my opinion, the best fight of this Cour, Yamamoto versus Yuha. The To say that this fight was beautiful would be an understatement. This shit was dead as one of the peakest fights I've ever seen in my life. Yama just lighting up the Soul Society, and then we finally see it. Bankai Zanka no Tachi. The hottest Bankai ever, no pun intended, and its power is downright insane because Yama can channel all of his sword's flames into just the tip of his blade. His Bankai was literally drying up the Soul Society. I don't know if this is just me, but do y'all realize how big of a feat that is? The Soul Society is fucking huge, and they stated that this man's Bankai could end up destroying the whole Soul Society. Yamamoto is a fucking beast, bro. And it has 4 parts to it: north, south, east, and west. He's literally able to summon the ashes of the people he's burned before and make them fight for him. Bro is literally using Yuha's people against him. But I guess Yuha took that personally, because right when it seems like he's down for the count and Yama turns his back, we see that he was actually a clone the whole time. And now that Yuha has seen and understood Yama's Bankai, he is able to steal it, and he does just that. And unfortunately, this is the end of Shigekuni Yamamoto. He died standing up, and the sun of the Soul Society has been extinguished. Rip old man Yama. More hype for me though, cause we found out that while Yama was actually fighting the clone, Yuha was in Muken talking with Sosuke Aizen. He actually tried recruiting Aizen, but bro was just like, nah, we good. What a goat, bro. That's my fucking villain, and I'm just waiting for Aizen to get free. Ichigo can hear the voices of all his friends start to fade away, so he locks in and finally breaks out of the jail, and we get one of the coldest scenes with Ichigo standing in the rain next to a dying Byakuya. Save the Soul Society, Kurosaki Ichigo. Fucking goosebumps, man. He goes straight to Yuha and starts boxing right away, but gets put down rather quickly, and we learn something that I have been wondering for such a long time now. For some reason, the Quincy's can't steal Ichigo's Bankai. He broke out of Kyoge's jail, and he also gets protected by Blutven, an ability exclusively for the Quincy's. And Yuha is just like, you don't know anything about yourself, not even your mother. And I finally put together the fact that Ichigo's mom was a Quincy, making Ichigo part Hollow, Soul Reaper, and Quincy. Now I understand why they call this dude a group project. One of the best moments of the show for me. Yuha is going to pierce Ichigo, but apparently the Quincy have run out of time in the Soul Society, so they gotta return to the Wandenreich. And Yuha's just confused because he swears they had more time, and that's when he realizes my goat Aizen manipulated his ass in the first few minutes he was down there talking to him. Yo, I will never stop glazing Aizen. This dude just has pure aura. Ichigo gets back up and he's trying to finish his fight with Yuha, but then gets his Bankai broken by Hashwat. Yuha and the Stern Ritters dip, and this is one of the heaviest losses Ichigo has ever taken, if not the hardest. He's just utterly defeated and got absolutely clowned on, and the entire Soul Society got fucked. The next episode, everyone's recovering and we get introduced to Squad 0. Apparently this one squad is stronger than the whole Gote 13, and they guard the Royal Palace, which is where the Soul King is. They seem pretty cool, and Ichigo is gonna go with them to repair his blade. But before I go there, I just gotta express how happy I am when Urahara called. You really think that I would forget the voice and the whole of my favorite Espada, Grimjao Jagajax? But I'm so fucking happy right now that he's in the story, because I've always wondered what the hell happened to him after Noitora showed up. So that was hype. And this episode just keeps surprising me because we learned that Ishin is actually part of the Shiba clan, which makes sense because he has black hair. And now it makes so much sense why Ichigo looks so much more like Kaien. We arrive in the Royal Palace and we see the Soul King Rei over the first time. And he doesn't seem to be in the best condition, because why the hell is he missing his limbs and he just looks lifeless? Shunsui is the head captain now, which makes sense, and we get another reveal that made me hype as hell. Shunsui is like, we need to train Kenpachi for the upcoming battles or we're fucked. And he wants a certain someone to train Kenny. And to say that I was shocked would be an understatement, because I genuinely had to pause the episode and think about life when I heard this. Shunsui gets Unohana to train Kenpachi, and hear this. He calls her the first Kenpachi. The first Kenpachi. And her name is Yachiru Unohana. The same name as the little pink girl. What the fuck is happening? Ichigo and Renji are healing up with Squad 0, but more importantly, we get to see Kenpachi versus Unohana, and this fight is so beautiful, man. We learned that Unohana was the only person that Kenpachi admired since he fought her as a kid. She was also the most notorious criminal in the history of the Soul Society, and now I understand why those Arrancars didn't fight her in Hueco Mundo. She feels guilty because she feels like she limited Kenpachi's strength, This is due to the fact that Unohana was the first person who was able to give Kenpachi the joy of battle, which was why he would subconsciously limit his strength when fighting, because he always wanted to feel the joy of close battles that Unohana gave him. So he was never actually supposed to struggle against Ichigo or Noitora, he would just lower his strength down to their level. Unohana kept killing and healing Kenpachi because he grows stronger every time he's on the brink of death. Then we see her Bankai Minazuki, and it's cool as hell, man. At the end, Kenny ends up killing her, and he's finally able to hear Zanpakuto's voice. I was so hyped for this because I've been waiting since the Soul Society for Kenny to finally come in contact with his blade. He tried to call it out after his fight with Ichigo, but it didn't respond, so just imagine how much stronger he's gonna get now. This was such a beautiful fight in terms of action, themes, and symbolism. We learned that in order to become a member of Squad Zero, you have to invent something big in the Soul Society. And Ichigo and Renji are now with the guy who invented the literal Zanpakuto, Oetsu. They need to find their Asauchi in order to reforge their blade, and Renji is able to do it, but Ichigo fails and he's sent back home to learn more about himself. Ishin tells Ichigo his whole backstory and how his mom was a Quincy, and this man Aizen was really behind Ichigo's whole birth. Ichigo's mom Masaki got bitten by a hollow that was made by Aizen, and it looks strikingly similar to Ichigo's Vasto Lorde form. So now Masaki has a hollow inside of her taking over, and Ishin loses his Soul Reaper powers in order to save her from getting devoured. It also makes sense now how she died to Grand Fisher, because Yuha actually ended up taking her Quincy powers away before she was able to fight. Talk about unlucky timing, holy shit. I oversimplified the fuck out of this backstory, by the way, and Kubo just proves how he can write anything. I've never seen a romance anime before, but I just felt straight love out of Ichigo's parents. So now Ichigo's learned about himself and his identity, so he goes back to Oetsu to give it a second try, and he succeeds. They get to reforging his blade, and now we are at the final episode of the Cour, which was also my favorite episode in all of Bleach. The Blade is Me. The biggest plot twist in Bleach history for me is revealed in this episode, and it just completely blew me away and solidified Bleach as my #1 anime. The old man Zangetsu that's been with us since the very beginning of Bleach is not actually Zangetsu. He is the younger appearance of Yuha in the source of Ichigo's Quincy powers. What a fucking twist, and to think that Ichigo has been fighting with his Quincy powers for the whole time is crazy. And when I think about it, White was never actually lying. He was telling the truth when he was saying that he was Zangetsu, and Ichigo always had help from him instead of the old man. So Ichigo has to say goodbye to the old man and take the real Zangetsu. However, he accepts the old man and White both as Zangetsu for him, and he gets 2 blades, which is insane. One representing his Quincy powers and one representing his Soul Reaper and Hollow powers. And that is where the Cour ends off in such a beautiful finale. Bleach is just so peak, man. And this was the first Cour, which is crazy. This was such a fun video to make, and thank you guys so much for the support. You know, road to 2K subscribers. Bleach is #1. Stay blessed and have a wonderful day, everyone.